And, I think it's great, because there's a lot of people who take those pivotal relationships for granted. So whether, it be
Mhm.
the spouse, the children, the parent, you know, that is the worst element. If you imagine that when you look at them, that's the last time you'll see them, and it was in a moment of
Mhm.
anger or
Mhm.
resentment. But when you know that it was something where you were able to say, I love you, where you were able to
Mhm.
get them to smile, and where you felt a connection,
Right.
because COVID, if it's taught us anything, it's you cannot take a day for granted. You know,
Not one.
there are many lives that are gone, many
Mhm.
jobs lost, many relationships broken, and a lot of health gone, all behind
Mhm.
this one little bug.
Oh
And
God.
so you got to think of the impact of a day, and how, you know,
Mhm.
make it your best, just
Absolutely.
look for positive. It's kind of like when you're walking along the sidewalk and you see that crack, and what
Mhm.
used to be irritating and that weed popping up, you wonder how the
Mhm.
heck did it get in there? But it
Yeah.
found a way to survive and make it to the
Mhm.
sunlight. So it's like,
Mhm.
celebrate every little tiny thing, because all that
Yeah.
positive energy, it turns into something bigger. But you have to
Oh
start
yeah.
small. So I think that's
Yeah.
beautiful that, you're using your family as a means of motivation to keep going and keep striving to be better. Do you have any
Thank you.
specific accomplishments that you're most proud of? Something that you've been able to do in your life thus far that really makes you stand tall?
I recently got licensed as a life insurance agent. That was
Congratulations.
a big, thank you. That was a pretty big accomplishment. The studying was like crazy. I was at basketball games and up late at night and up early in the morning, and I recorded myself and I would play it in the car as I'm riding to and from work, and play it while I'm jogging, and just to make sure that I had a good study ethic so that I could pass the test. And
Nice.
when I tell you, the young lady told me that I passed the test, I asked her, was she sure? Because I just could not believe that I did. But that was one of the most recent accomplishments that I made, and like it was just like tremendous for me.
That's great. That's great. And that is my challenge for you to continue, and everyone that's listening. Something that you think you cannot do, turn it into something that you can. Because the key is mindset. When you believe that you can, but then you enact it. So, how long did it take you from
Mm-hmm.
the point of study to the point of passing? How many months was that?
So I signed up in December. I passed my test in February. So yeah, it wasn't long at all.
Not
And
even
I
3 months.
would like to say this, um, not even. After having brain surgery, I have issues with short-term memory
Look
loss.
at that.
So
Look at
sometimes
that.
yeah, I will, something will happen, or I'll have a conversation with someone or with my kids, and a few minutes later or tomorrow, I won't even remember that it happened. And so just to be able to retain the information to pass the test was like just a blessing all in itself. And that just shows how if you take one step, God will take that extra step for you. And make sure that and faith, having the faith to believe that no matter what I see in front of me, no matter how what challenges I face right now, as long as I do my part, God will do the rest.
That's profound. And that's the key too, that you can take two people and the same set of circumstances, one will fall down and the other
Mhm.
will run gracefully. So
Yeah.
it's not the situation, it's how you look at it. It's not
Yes.
the cards you're dealt,
Perception.
it's how
Yes.
you play them. So the
Yes.
fact that you have such a pristine attitude and you accomplish something that people with much lesser obstacles just limit themselves from reaching for. Amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. And
Thank
my
you.
story's a little lesser. It's a physical element thing. So when I was a kid, my brothers used to tease me because they're like, how do you have bigger muscles than we do? I loved working out. But that was decades
Mhm.
ago. So recently, my job had a challenge, and they said, we're going to all
Mhm.
enroll in a program to see if we can hit 50 miles. Run, walk,
Mhm.
drag yourself, whatever you got to do for the month, cross 50 miles.
Mhm.
So this started
Mhm.
at the beginning of May, and I'm thinking, okay, I can do this. But then I noticed the more active I was, the more I wanted to be. You know how those endorphins kick in.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I want to say maybe a week in, I was like to my hubby, babe, I think I might be able to do this sooner. And what you do is you take that bar and you push it up a little bit
Mhm.
higher. And I
Mhm.
shocked myself when I finished less than halfway through the month.
Oh
And
wow.
it felt so good. The way that you said that you asked the test administrator, are you sure? Because when you get something that, to you seemed
Mhm.
impossible and you make it possible,
Mhm.
do you realize the world of opportunity that you open up? You
Yes.
are unstoppable. There is nothing you
Absolutely.
cannot do. And that's why I challenge everyone, go find something. And it's okay to start small. Go find something that you
Mhm.
think is tough. Tackle that. And the minute you do, go a little bit bigger and keep climbing. And when your journey is complete and you look back at what you were able to leave as your legacy, it all started with the first challenge. So, yeah, keep it up.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of more wonderful, amazing things that's going to come your way. So,
Thank
definitely,
you.
definitely. And also curious, so what was it that led to your decision to pursue baking? How was it that you got involved with that?
So I've always been, as soon as I was able to stand up in front of a stove, I've always watched cooking shows. I used to watch Julia Child and Jacques Therese and like all these great chefs, and I would see the recipes and I'll go and try to recreate them, make a lot of mistakes, throw a lot of food away, but I would but I would see that, and like it's inspired me because you're creating,
Yeah.
and once you create something that's awesome and you see people enjoy it, something that you created with your hands and you put so much love in it, it pushes you to want to keep doing that. And I started baking for a church
Oh, you might have hit your mute button.
that I was a member. I started doing that, it kind of pushed me into, okay, well, I can do this for more than just the church.
Hmm.
And a person at my job at the time back at Walmart was like, can you do a birthday cake for me? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, I can try to do that. And she was like, well, my daughter likes trolls. So I did the first cake I ever did was no trolls under the bridge cake. And it was a bridge made out of brown Twizzlers,
Oh,
and it was
wow.
so cool. I made the water out of gel, and like it was so pretty. And eventually, like watching more cake um, shows and just messing up and starting again, I eventually was able to get to a place where I am now, which is a pretty skilled cake decorator. And I have to thank God for it.
Wonderful. I think it's excellent too, because in that you carry the message, learn from your mistakes. If you're afraid to mess up, you'll never get to greatness. So, the
Right.
first cake of yours that I saw was the Michael Kors one. mind blown.
Yes.
And here's why I bake. I it tastes great, but it looks terribly ugly every time. So
Oh,
first, I always admire someone that the creativity involved, and it's not just about how it tastes, but the presentation. You really make
yes.
someone's life when they can see whatever, you know, image, like to take that from in here or a photo and build it into an edible cake. That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
So, you know, I'm curious. This is going to be one of the final questions that I tend to ask of all guests that come on. Let's imagine for a
Hmm.
moment that you could jump in a time
Okay.
machine and you can take yourself back 20 years. What is it that you're saying to your younger self? What message do you have for Latrina 20 years ago?
I would say that that you're gonna go through a lot of hard times. You're going to have some struggles. Um, you're going to have to love yourself enough to keep going. You're going to have to love yourself enough to not get. I will say that no matter what the world thinks of you, you're amazing. And don't ever let anybody take that from you. And that you're loved beyond measure. Because I've felt in a lot of times in my life that I wasn't loved. So
Mm.
that's what I would say to myself.
Amazing. Yeah, all significant points and things that I'm glad you share that because we have to remind ourselves
Mm-hmm.
every day of how loved we are, how amazing we
Mm-hmm.
are. And then we have to go and live it that way. Because if you
Yes.
say it and you don't live up to it, well, now you're going to have this conflict. And
Yeah.
then we have to fight. And our energy is only so much. So we need to spend that on
Mm-hmm.
building ourselves up, not tearing ourselves
Right.
down. And, you know, it makes me think of a marathon runner. If you show up with all these bags and a heavy winter coat and work
Mm.
boots, you ain't getting far, you know, you're going
Nope.
to limit
Not at
yourself.
all. You're weighted down.
But when you throw off that weight and
Mm-hmm.
you lighten up and you look down that finish line, when you finally get to it and you cross it because you lightened up and you let go, amazing, amazing things lie on the other side. So
Oh yeah.
we are so happy that you came through and again that you graced us with your presence. You shared your profound
Thank you.
life experiences. We
Thank
are
you for
wishing
having
you
me.
nothing but more amazing things to come. If anyone in the listening audience wants to get in touch with you for one of those amazing cakes, could you go ahead and do you have a social
Yes.
media handle or a best way for them to reach you?
So my name is Latrina Hicks on Facebook. I'm not really on any of the other social media platforms, but primarily on Facebook. It's Latrina Hicks, LatrinaHicks. So that's me.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to make sure that's included in the description. And our plea to our listeners is to remember you are fabulous no matter what you're going through. Fight through, stand tall, keep going. It's going to be okay. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, do be sure to share. Make sure they come in for the positivity. And when you have the opportunity, tell someone that you love them. Help lift each other up. We all need that every day. And we're wishing you nothing but blessings and safety. Remember to celebrate every moment you have. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to share this video and like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at NewUL. Until next time, stand tall in your power and remember, your belief in yourself is your superpower.